Hey everybody, I'm Chef AJ and welcome to Healthy Living. You know, healthy living starts with healthy eating. So today I'm going to show you some healthy and delicious recipes that will help you to look and feel your best. Joining me in the kitchen today is Dr. Joel Kahn. He is a cardiologist who has been following a plant-based diet for over 30 years and actually recommends one to his patients. He is the author of the #1 best-selling books, The Whole Heart Solution and Dead Execs Don't Get Bonuses. And he is seen regularly on television and also writes for the Huffington Post. We'll be creating recipes today that support good cardiovascular health, as well as talking about other healthy choices that are good for the heart. So please join me in the kitchen and let's get cooking. So much for coming to Healthy Living, Dr. Kahn.
I can't tell you how excited I am.
I know, I'm so glad to have you here. So Dr. Kahn has written not one, but two #1 best-selling books. One which I read, The Whole Heart Solution, a treasure trove of information to support cardiovascular health and just healthy lifestyle in general, which I loved. And one that I haven't read, but he says I can keep, which is called Dead Execs Don't Get Bonuses. Love the title. It's really about how not to have a heart attack, right?
And we're going to demonstrate right now how to do that.
And one of the ways is with the food, right? Because you are a board-certified cardiologist. You spend your days being a real doctor, you know, sometimes writing prescriptions, putting in stents.
I love putting in stents because it gives me half an hour to talk to them about eating this food.
Well, you know, all the stuff you do with your patients, how much of it do you think could have been prevented if they would eat the kind of food that we eat, that you've eaten for 30 years and me 40 years?
Not much, like 80%, not very much. I mean, like hospitals would be empty and coronary care units wouldn't know what to do.
Exactly.
We can turn them into gardens.
Wonderful. So I don't know if you have a pressure cooker or have you ever done?
Absolutely.
That's fantastic. This is the Instant Pot. It's my favorite electric pressure cooker. Has a stainless steel insert. You set it, you forget it. So we're making a broccoli bisque today. It's actually a recipe of Mary McDougall, the wife of Dr. John McDougall, who's a very talented recipe writer. I've modified it slightly to include tastes that I like, but really what I've done with her recipe is transferred it to the pressure cooker. It makes it easier, saves time. You don't have to turn the oven on when it's hot, which is one of my favorite things. So we're starting with 1.5 pounds of broccoli. This is actually broccolette, which is, I guess, smaller or younger broccoli. It really doesn't matter. I love doing this recipe with asparagus. It's also delicious. I don't cut anything up. I throw everything in. These are organic Yukon Gold potatoes.
Ah, nice.
1.5 pounds. You could use any kind of potato. I've actually used sweet potatoes in here, so it really doesn't matter. I've got 1 whole onion. It got chopped, but honestly, what's great about the pressure cooker is I could have put the onion in whole. It wouldn't have mattered because we're going to blend it anyway. Now, Mary's recipe didn't call for garlic, but in my opinion, garlic is so good for you. And
so good for the heart.
And it just makes everything taste better. So I put 2 very large cloves, tablespoon of dill,
nice,
and 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, whatever your favorite
Everything
one
goes
is.
well with Dijon.
Absolutely. Let me get the last bit out. I'm going to use my potato here as a spoon. So that's it. It couldn't be easier. You put the pressure cooker on, and this is a really, really quick soup. It's about 6 minutes. High pressure. I love this over rice, especially brown rice. It's just one of my favorite ways to eat it. 6 minutes, set it, forget it.
Easy. This is easy.
Right. But I want to show you what it looks like when it's done because I'd rather spend the 6 minutes talking to you than waiting for the soup to cook. I cooked one right before you got here and just want to show you how I finish it. So here I've got my finished soup in the pressure cooker. Everything's nice and soft now.
It smells good.
It smells really good. Now I'm going to add 4 cups of unsweetened non-dairy milk. And what's great is because this milk is cold, it's going to bring the soup to a temperature where we could actually eat it right away. This is just something I added on my own. It gives it a little bit of a cheesy flavor. 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, not brewer's yeast, totally optional.
You're dumping in some B12. Love it.
Why not? Now, we could use a blender, but I was a volunteer culinary instructor for years at the Braille Institute teaching the blind how to cook these types of healthy foods. And blenders can be problematic when you're blind because the heat expands, and I was a little bit worried that they could get burned. So this is called an immersion blender or a stick blender. Make sure you put it all the way down, because if I turn it on with up, we'll burn ourselves. And this could take a minute or two to blend. Once it's nice and creamy.
Wow, that's easy.
Yeah, really easy. I think that if we make these recipes delicious but easy, more people will tend to want to eat them, Now, I don't know if you noticed, Dr. Kahn, I don't use salt. Is that a problem? Because I don't think it's that helpful, and since I don't need it in my recipes, must we eat it, or are we better off if we either limit it or don't eat it? As a cardiologist, what do you say?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And let it cool a little, then you can taste it.
It's a controversial question, but in America, we're getting too much salt.
Absolutely.
I mean, even if you don't add it in, you're going to get it in your
if you're eating
somewhere.
Processed food, sure.
And in general, salt, blood pressure, stiff arteries, increased heart disease. There's this tribe in South America, the Yanomamo. Naturally, their food is extremely low in salt, like way under 500 milligrams. The best blood pressure in the world. Never rises. There's no medicine. So I favor what you just did. I think this is great.
Thank you. Thank you for. I don't know if it's hot. I know it's hot. I mean, I don't know if it's cool enough for you to taste. I certainly don't want you to
it smells wonderful.
Burn your tongue on my show. Is it good?
Oh, it's delicious.
Thank you. So are the ingredients in here favorable for good cardiovascular health in general?
Yeah, this would be something I'd want everybody in my clinic to eat.
And why?
Well, starting with, the pound and a half of broccoli or broccolette. I mean, broccoli is truly a superfood.
Yes.
It may not have gotten the marketing lobby that kale
did. Yeah, they need a better publicist.
But, broccoli raw and cooked can create a chemical called sulforaphane, which is revolutionizing the treatment of health. It lowers your cholesterol, lowers your blood pressure. It's anti-cancer. All the cruciferous vegetables have it. And there's a rumor out there that the cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, particularly kale, might not be good for your thyroid.
Okay.
So I've just done some research on that, and there is one 88-year-old woman reported in the literature eating 3.5 pounds of bok choy a day that developed thyroid trouble.
I like bok choy, but why would she eat that much bok choy?
She was in China, and maybe that's all the grocery store had. Right. Other than that one unfortunate 88-year-old woman who did recover, the rest of us are going to benefit. Less diabetes, less weight problems, less blood pressure, less heart disease. Cruciferous, I love the broccoli, and I love that you put dill in there, just another source of green phytonutrients to maintain our health. Nutritional yeast is one of my favorites. The non-milk milk, of course, is, I would wish all of America gets rid of their dairy
If I had one wish, it would be for everyone to go dairy-free.
We don't need the casein, we don't need the lactose sugar, and we don't need the exposure to animal products. So this is absolutely the most heart-friendly puree and bisque I've seen.
Thank you. Well, you're going to be opening a restaurant soon, so feel free to use any of my recipes if you like.
Thank you.
That's amazing. I would love to have a doctor like you. I don't need a cardiologist, but if I had one, I'd love to have one like you that's not only knowledgeable about your field, but about nutrition as well, because I'm sure you didn't learn this in medical school.
Well, we did. You have to study on your own. And garlic you put in. I mean, always a shout out for garlic. There's lots of sulfur in garlic. It will clearly lower your cholesterol if you eat garlic consistently. It can lower your blood sugar too. So I am a garlic fan. The more you eat, the better you'll be.
I'm just curious, Dr. Kahn, how do your fellow cardiologists and colleagues in general feel about you being plant-based for 30 years? Do they see you as a kook or a visionary?
Yeah, it's been a battle, and I think largely it's respect. You can do it. Like there's something special about me. I never could. I mean, anybody could. Everybody should.
Yes.
And slowly, not fast enough, the hospitals are getting the message. But we can only pray it's faster for the health of the patients.
All right. Well, just thank you so much for what you're doing to get the message out. I know you write for Mind, Body, Green, and you're just all over the place on television. So thank you so much.
Well, look, I came for the bisque.
all the way from Michigan to taste my soup.
Golden Yukon potatoes from Michigan.
I did not know that. And my grandfather always used to say, "Do you mind eating yesterday's soup?" And we'd say, "No." He goes, "Come back tomorrow." But you guys come right back, because we've got some more amazing recipes we want to show you that are really good for your heart. So I'm back in the kitchen with plant-based cardiologist, Dr. Joel Kahn.
I'm excited about this one.
Well, you're going to have to be my my culinary assistant on this one, because the ingredients are over there.
I did a 6-minute scrub.
Very good. I figured red must be good for the heart, because the heart is red. At least the blood is red, right?
The blood is red, but red foods are they're all good. Pomegranates, red apples, strawberries, raspberries. You go through the science.
Twizzlers? That's right.
Skittles don't count either.
Exactly.
I hope they're not a sponsor.
No, absolutely not. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a recipe from my book on process. It's called Quick Sun-Dried Marinara Sauce, and it's really quick because we're using the Vitamix blender, which is really cool because it's going to make it hot in just a couple of minutes. So again, we don't have to turn on the stove. It's going to taste like it's been slow simmered for hours, and it's really simple. So please first hand me, doctor, the sun-dried tomatoes. 1 cup, which have been soaking in water.
There you go, Dr. AJ.
Yeah, thank you. They have been soaking, so they're very soft right now for the blender. Then about 4 Roma tomatoes.
Love tomato for the heart.
Lycopene, is that like important?
Just everything, but lycopene, my favorite.
Right. The red bell pepper, 1.
Another vitamin C powerhouse.
We love it. How about some basil? Fresh basil, we have about 8.
Gotta love every herb and spice.
Right, exactly.
Fresher the better.
And that little bowl has a shallot. Do you know what a shallot is, by the way? It's a cross between an onion and a garlic. So it's a little bit milder.
Words right out of my mouth.
A couple of cloves of garlic, and always feel free to use more garlic. And for sweetness, to balance the acidity from the tomato, I'm using 4 small Deglet Nord dates, pitted, of course. Did you know that 1/2 cup serving of a commercial marinara sauce that you would buy in the store has more sugar than 2 Oreos? It's ridiculous how much.
So much oil, too.
It's ridiculous how much sugar and stuff they put in processed food. So this is, if you can get it, great. If not, it's a tablespoon of sun-dried tomato powder. I can get it here in LA. You can get it online. If you can't, whoops, don't worry. The world won't come to an end. Now, it's so much easier because you don't have to really chop anything up. You just put it on high. I'm going to need to run the blender for about 2 to 3 minutes, and in that time, it's actually going to heat the sauce. So, go like this, Dr. Kahn.
Ooh, nice.
It's hot. And so you can make hot soup in like 3 minutes in the Vitamix. It's great. And so all the enzymes and nutrients are intact because we really haven't cooked it. So what are we going to do? Well, we could serve it over pasta. There's some healthy whole grain pastas, but I really like emphasizing vegetables. Americans do not eat enough fruits and vegetables, especially vegetables. Some eat none, some eat as little as 3%. The national average is something like less than 10%. And it's usually a potato. Nothing wrong with the potato, except that they usually cook it with butter and salt or cheese or bacon, things like that. So we're going to make zoodles, zucchini noodles, and it's really, really easy. You can get these tools, gadgets everywhere, less than $20. They're spiralizers, or you could just use a vegetable peeler. So I've peeled the zucchini. If I'm making this for myself, I leave the peel on because especially since it's organic, there's fiber and nutrients in the skin. But by peeling it, it's white. It looks more familiar to people like pasta. And this is just a really fun tool to have for other vegetables like beets or carrots. And it's really, really easy. You can get the kids involved. And all you do is turn the crank. And you know, I did a demo once in Ohio, and the state commissioner was there, but he came late and he didn't see me make it. And by then, the sauce had already been on it for several hours, and he thought it was real pasta. He said, "This is delicious. What kind of pasta is it?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not. It's zucchini."
It's called healthy pasta.
Isn't that cool?
Great.
So it's really easy. It's really, really fun. And the blades come in different sizes, so you can make different size noodles. And then you can have this little, you know. See, this is the great thing about a plant-based diet, because this is how you are if you're on a plant-based diet. If you're not, you're like this.
It's so true.
Dr. Terry Mason says the stiffer the arteries, the softer the penis. So that's another reason, guys, to eat healthy.
Triple X show here today. But very medically correct.
Right, thank you. So you can see the steam coming out of here. And then, you know, it's just, this looks, this tastes.
I mean, like a bolognese sauce or something.
What is this? You know, maybe 200 calories, if at all, for all of this.
No oil.
Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? Oh, delicious.
This is the original fast food.
And you could have this, you know, over regular pasta if you like, but it looks just like it.
Yeah, and I love every ingredient in there.
So I'm going to give you a little bit, and it's hot, you know. We could stir this up a little.
I'm so happy to be here. Look that I'm being fed well.
And we could do it, like, remember the movie Lady and the Tramp where they had the long strings of pasta, and then they ended up, well, you were both married, so it's probably not good if we end up kissing. But serving it seems to be the hardest part. Look at how long that is.
You're such a doll.
Let me get that off for you. A little bit more sauce. The sauce is boss. It's the best part. All right, just give you a little bit. And now, what am I topping it with? Let me tell you what I'm topping it with. And I'm so glad you said in the last segment that you like nutritional yeast. Yes. Because what it is a faux Parmesan topping. In my book on process, I used lots of nuts, and I use walnuts specifically for their omega-3 fatty acids. But nuts made me fat. And even when I ate as little as an ounce of walnuts a day, I still couldn't lose weight. So what I did is I took my recipe from Unprocessed, and instead of walnuts, I substituted oats. And people tell me it tastes exactly the same. All this topping is a cup of oats a cup of nutritional yeast, and some of my favorite salt-free seasonings. It gives it just a little, pop. So let me know what you think. And then maybe you could tell me a little bit about fat, because I read a great article you wrote, and I saw an interview with you talking about, it's good, huh? Thank you. Talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not a doctor, something like the APOE5 gene. And I heard geneticist Rosanna Oliveira talk about it. Thank you so much for enjoying it. Saying that certain people that have this genetic variant, that fat really does make them fat, and other people can eat a lot more fat. So please address that.
Yeah, you're right on. A lot of people have heard of the blood type diet, which largely has been debunked. But the idea, this is called apolipoprotein E, APOE.
APOE.
APOE. It's a blood test anybody can get if they ask their doctor for it.
Sure.
You can be APOE 2, 3, or 4.
What are you?
Well, I am 3-3, which is, thank goodness, the lowest heart disease risk of the 3, and I hope you too. But you might be APOE 4-4, which has been shown that really does not tolerate oil and fatty foods in the diet. It really predicts your dietary choices better than the debunked blood bank diet.
So this is a blood test that anyone could ask their doctor for, and they could get it.
They can, and it really guides not only cardiovascular health, APOE 3-3, but APOE 4-4. You worry a little bit about future brain problems, and if you know ahead of time, change your diet.
That's fantastic.
Get the oil out, get the fat out, put the veggies in.
I've been plant-based for almost 40 years now, and my cholesterol is 99, my LDL is 57, and I had dinner with a very famous author, doctor of a different lifestyle. I won't say his name, but he said, oh, I'm going to have Alzheimer's because my cholesterol is too low. Can your cholesterol be too low? Because let me say something. I was hit by a young driver in a head-on collision, very serious, and I was in the hospital, and they were doing every test, CAT scans and MRIs, and the neurologist said he has never seen carotid arteries in a 50-year-old woman that were open like that.
Well, there is a side effect to a low cholesterol.
What?
It is. If you have a naturally low cholesterol, you have to be careful because you might live a very long life free of medication and hospitalization. That's what the science said. Wow. I've done research on that topic. If your cholesterol starts low at childhood, you will probably live a very long life free of heart disease. So you're going to be cooking for a long time, and given how good this is, that's a good thing.
Thank you for saying that. Now, if our viewers want to get in touch with you or learn more about you, what's the best website for them to do that?
Yeah, I'm pretty shy on social media.
No, you're not.
I'm everywhere on social media. But Facebook, Dr. Joel Kahn, K-A-H-N, and my website is drjoelkahn.com.
K-A-H-N, your name. Yeah. Well, I just think you're awesome, and I'm so glad you enjoy my food. Next time, hopefully, you bring your wife and stay longer, and I'll really get to cook for you.
You bet. I have a crazy word, healthspital. And if this is what we did in the hospital, it really would be a health.
And what's interesting, in today's hospitals, they often have fast food restaurants, so it's like they get you sick so that you can stay there.
It's an evil triangle,
that's
but this is the answer.
It's funny. That's what I call sugar, oil, and salt, the evil trinity.
We're
on the same
love
page,
it.
right? Be sure to come right back because we're going to create not one but two delicious, heart-healthy desserts that you do not want to miss. So we're back for my favorite part of the show, the sweet endings. And because you have not one but two best-selling books, we're not making just one. We're making two desserts.
Can I write more books?
Yeah,
Get more desserts?
Absolutely. So this is my triple apple cake, and I was a pastry chef for many years in Los Angeles. The restaurant wasn't even a plant-based restaurant, but I was known for making decadent desserts without using sugar, oil, or salt, using the fruit, the whole fruit, nothing but the whole fruit. And I tend to use a lot of dates, and all of a sudden somebody came in, very rare, but somebody actually was allergic to dates, and I'm like, no problem. So I made this triple apple cake, and it's absolutely delicious. You start with 3 apples, which I have chopped very finely in a food processor fitted with the S-blade, and I am using what's called, it's called the Envy apple. It's like the best apple in the whole world. Delicious. I've got 3 cups of oats, and I'm using gluten-free just because, you never know who has a gluten intolerance. 1.5 cups of unsweetened applesauce. Nice. So it's a triple apple cake because we've got the fresh apples, the applesauce, and now 2 ounces of dried apple rings. So instead of dates, this is what's going to provide my sweetness. Bring it all together with flax seeds. Flax seeds are a great egg substitute, high in omega-3 fatty acids, really good for plant-based baking. 6 tablespoons. 1 tablespoon of apple pie spice, which is cinnamon, nutmeg, mace. If you can't find it, just use like about 2.5 teaspoons of cinnamon and 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. 1 teaspoon each of salt-free baking powder, salt-free baking soda. I'm going to tell you the truth, there have been times I forgot to put it in. It still works. And 1 tablespoon of alcohol-free vanilla. Whenever I'm in Mexico, I always buy their vanilla. It's so good. And this is so easy. There's no mixer. There's no blender. You just take an old-fashioned bowl, and a spatula, and you just mix it up.
I see heart arteries getting cleaner and cleaner. Oats, apples, nutmeg. I love apple pie spice.
Yes, it's great in oatmeal too. You can put it in. Would you mind passing me my baking tray? It's a 9-inch silicone baking pan, and you don't need oil because nothing sticks to it, so it's great for that. You save money not having to use oil or those sprays, which really are a scam. You know, what do you think of those oil sprays? Yeah. They say no calories, but you have to spray it for something like 1/32 of a second.
Yeah, it's all portion size.
Right.
We don't need that oil. I like it's not aluminum either.
Yes.
Don't need extra aluminum in our brains.
Absolutely. Yeah. So really easy. I mean, a kid could do this. It's that easy. And so we're just
I think a kid is doing it.
A big kid.
Young at heart, for sure.
So what I love about this cake is because, well, it's not only healthy and delicious, you can eat it cold, hot, or room temperature. We're going to put an ice cream on it, so that's why we're going to serve it cold, because I find when you put ice cream on a hot cake, it just kind of melts very, very quickly, if you wouldn't mind putting that over there. So what we're going to do is we have the oven preheated to 350 degrees. I like to do the drop and plop just to kind of get it to spread out evenly. And we're going to put it in the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. It's always good to cool it a little bit before you serve it. But you were a very good guest, and so you're getting ice cream.
I am happy.
Apple pie ice cream. So we have a theme going here.
Yes.
In the Vitamix, I have a half a cup of non-dairy unsweetened milk and a teaspoon of vanilla, and I'm adding an apple that I froze. This is the Envy apple. You can use any apple, but these are just so sweet and delicious, and they're large because I want a large apple, probably about 10 ounces. 2 bananas that were ripened, then peeled, then frozen. That's about 8 ounces of bananas. And this type of blender, I don't think you can really do it in a regular blender, but these high-powered blenders with a tamper can turn any fruit into sorbet. Forgot one ingredient. What would apple pie ice cream be without my teaspoon of apple pie spice? If you get one of these blenders, you can have ice cream every night without fat or dairy or cholesterol.
And just with health.
Absolutely.
Health.
So
it's
now,
another red food. Apples everywhere.
Here is the apple pie cake after it's been chilled. Let me just get a little bowl to give you a serving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece and put it in a serving dish. Take the top off the blender. And look at this. Oh, OMG.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
OMG.
Look at that.
Hashtag
Does that look beautiful?
OMG. May I?
Yes, and you know, if it's not good, I can take the criticism, but I know it's good because it was Pastry Chef. It is good, isn't it?
It's amazing.
And there's no sugar.
It really is
There's no
amazing.
sugar. There's no flour. It's gluten-free. There's not even
A
dates.
child would eat this.
Absolutely.
Without question.
And I test these recipes on children. My husband, for example.
Me too.
Dr. Kahn, you are so passionate about food as medicine. And why? Because most doctors are not.
Well, you know, we talked about it earlier in the hour that there are way too many people having heart attacks. I mean, I've been doing this 25 years. I've taken care of people. I've watched them die. 80% of heart attacks do not need to happen, with nutrition being the foundation. So I've launched a campaign to try and prevent, and we will, 1 million heart attacks in the next 2 years. Serious business, but your food just complements the goal of that campaign, which is food is medicine.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. What got you interested in just picking cardiology as a field when you went to medical school? There's so many other ones.
Yeah, I knew I wanted to be a heart doctor, and I trained a very long time to be expert in putting in stents. 1 week after I started my career, Dr. Dean Ornish published his study, and I was upset. He does it with food. It took me 7 years to get here. He does it in 7 weeks with diet.
So is your motto prevent, not stent now?
It is prevent, not stent, although I still do both aspects.
Right.
I'd much rather nobody come and see me ever because they're healthy.
So when your patients come to you and they need some kind of intervention like a stent or an angioplasty or possibly medication, do you take the time to actually sit them down and say, hey, I'll do this for you. It's a Band-Aid. Let me tell you what the real cause of heart disease is.
You have to. I mean, I believe the ethics are not to disclose that you can reverse heart disease in the future by changing your diet. Relatively simple. Go to your website, read my books. So many ways to learn more about this. Ethics require me to tell people, you know, this is the path to health. Because
the Hippocratic Oath, isn't it first do no harm? And
absolutely. To go through a big surgery that other options might
That's
take care of.
That's the sad part, because I have people that actually Dr. Esselstyn has sent to me to come to my cooking classes that have had not one but 2 or even 3 open heart surgeries that are in tears because their doctor never told them that they could use food as medicine. That's what Hippocrates said, let food be thy medicine. How did we get so far from that?
Yeah. We have not spread the message, and that's why I love being here for your show.
And that's what I'm so glad
Everywhere
you're doing.
we can, we have to spread the message. And
now, we know food is important, maybe possibly even the most important, but are there any other healthy choices people can make for overall general health or perhaps cardiovascular health in particular?
Well, I've written about a lot of things in my career, but one of the most well-received one was about a special guest we have in the kitchen today.
Oh,
so it turns out that pets are very good for your heart. And I think we have Bailey, your very special dog today.
We just rescued her from a shelter at age 4. She was a turn-in, an owner turn-in. And this is Dr. Kahn. Come on, give him a kiss.
We love each other. She was kissing me so much before.
One of the things I'm passionate about, Dr. Kahn, is that people spay and neuter their pets and that they adopt instead of shop, because so many animals are put to death like Bailey would have been. So why is Bailey good for my heart, other than I love her?
I have 2 rescue dogs, too,
good
and
for
they're
you.
my heart. But so good for your heart. One, you're probably going to walk her.
I do. Oh, my God, my pedometer steps have doubled since I got her.
No question.
Yep.
Number 2, just what you're doing right now. When you hug a human, and I'm sure it's true when you hug a pet, you release oxytocin, you release other wonderful endorphins. You actually improve your health by having something to love like beautiful Bailey.
Yes. Thank you so much. So make sure to come right back and we'll show you all the recipes we made today.
Mother Earth products are a delicious variety of foods that are dried. Mother Earth's products can be taken anywhere, on vacation, activities, world travels, the cellar, the basement, the kitchen table. Hey, why not stock up on all these dried foods and put them in your cabinet? Choose from any one of their varieties, like beans, dried vegetables, entrees, freeze-dried fruits, freeze-dried vegetables, food storage supplies, grains, cereals, and mixes, and a whole lot more. Mother Earth's products are perfect to store foods later and then use them at a certain period of time by rehydrating them in water or your favorite stock mixture. For more information about Mother Earth's products, log on to MotherEarthsProducts.com.
So today I was joined in the kitchen by plant-based cardiologist Dr. Kahn, and we created some delicious recipes that support cardiovascular health. First, we made a hearty, delicious broccoli bisque in the Instant Pot in only 6 minutes, made with Yukon Gold potatoes and broccoli. It was delicious. It actually has dill in it, so it's delicious, I guess. Oh boy, good thing they don't send you to jail for making a pun. Then we made some zoodles, or zucchini noodles, pasta made of just fresh organic zucchini, topped with a quick sun-dried marinara that was made in the blender in just 3 minutes. And for dessert, a triple apple cake, moist and delicious, topped with an apple pie ice cream. Dr. Kahn, I know they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but since we use 7 apples, will you be gone for a week?
We have helped everybody. Apples really do that.
Right. Now, I know you're opening a restaurant, and this type of food will be served, right?
Yes. Anybody coming to Detroit, Green Space Cafe, all plant-based. We have a no added oil menu, and I would proudly put every single thing we've made here today there to serve our crowd.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the great work you're doing. And thank you so much for watching another episode of Healthy Living. I'm Chef AJ, and I make healthy taste delicious.